8. Jack the Ripper. To this day, the identity of perhaps the most famous killer in the history of crime, Jack the Ripper, responsible for at least 5 deaths in the London neighbourhood of Whitechapel in 1888, remains a mystery. Since there is no doubt that the killer must have possessed considerable strength, criminologists agree that the murderer was most likely male. Furthermore, all victims were seen in the company of an unknown man. Although forensic science in the 19th century was still in its infancy, an examination of the bodies led to the clear conclusion that all the murders were committed by the same man. Jack the Ripper was possibly the first serial killer in history who did not dispose of the dead bodies, but instead publicly exhibited them. Since all his victims were prostitutes, there was a clear sexual subtext to the murders. In those days, the police were only able to convict a person by catching them in the act, or based on witness testimonies or direct physical evidence. Fingerprint analysis was barely a concept, while DNA testing was yet to make its appearance even in science fiction. Nevertheless, during the investigation and in the following decades, various different names were linked to the gruesome murders. The most convincing of them at the top of the list was one James Maybrick, whose diary contained entries that seemed to have been written by a serial killer.
The records show that he's very violent. The records show, for example, that his mother goes to kiss him when she's leaving, and he attempts to bite her face. He threatens to rip people apart and rip people open, and generally he would fit the bill of probably being homicidal.
Should we consider Jack the Ripper's case resolved, then? Hardly. In spite of the recent findings relating to the diary, it is still surrounded by too many unanswered questions.